Yes. Yes, this is Toron who's speaking. Oh, hello, Mr. Bolton. What? Bomb in Baghdad?
Can you believe it? War breaks out, and the Holy See hears it from a reporter.
He's waiting for you, Your Eminences. It's frightening. Truly frightening.
The American ambassador is unavailable.
I found everywhere. He just disappeared.
He can't avoid us forever.
I left word that the Holy Father himself needs to speak with him urgently and is waiting for him to call. What more can we do?
We can't just wait for them to have the courtesy to inform us. We need to summon the bishops of every country involved in the war immediately.
Holy Father, we need time.
Immediately. Thank you. Your Eminence.
Your Excellency, I simply wish to remind you that it was Urban VI who mounted the First Crusade.
And for good reason. Islam invaded Europe, after all the way to the gates of Vienna.
Yes, of course. But think about it, a pope shouting. It is God's will, officially declaring war in God's name.
That was centuries ago.
Today, at this very moment, there are soldiers on both fronts. Muslims and Christians who kill their enemies in the name of their own God. It's shameful.
Yes, it's unthinkable at the end of the 20th century to respond to war with more war.
But, Holy Father, hasn't the Church always defended the doctrine of a just war? And isn't this just such a war? A sovereign nation, Kuwait, was invaded.
Don't you understand that Saddam Hussein is a dictator and the Iraqi people his principal victims? Why should they be made to pay for this war?
Please, Your Excellency, please.
Can there be a just war today? Even if it can temporarily resolve an unacceptable situation. War brings destruction and suffering, as well as new, potentially worse injustices, all of which creates terrible hatred in people's hearts. No one seems to realize it, but this war could be the beginning of a new and far more dramatic conflict. North against South, poor against rich, the West against Islam. We must do everything possible to avoid a war of civilizations.
But to do that, we must intensify the dialogue with the other religions, especially with Islam.
The challenge of peace transcends religions' differences. We must bring back the spirit of Assisi.
Yes, Assisi, where for the first time in history, representatives of all the religions came together to pray for peace.
And on that one day, there was a worldwide truce. And no one died on any battlefield anywhere. I know this is a very big dream. That religions, all religions, will guide man's hearts toward peace on earth. But this is our dream.
The German church has wanted you to have this piece of the Berlin Wall.
It speaks of tears and hope and despair. The light that was supposed to come from the east never came. We still feel the weight of the communist heritage. While the democracy that came from the West brought with it the West of Western culture, unprincipled capitalism. But we can't stop hoping.
Holy Father, your confidence never stops amazing me. Perhaps because I feel that I have less and less.
What are you trying to tell me?
If it's all right with you, we'll speak of it another time.
All right.
Holy Father, what?
I don't know what it...
Your doctor's here, Holiness.
Well, now, what happened?
I was shouldn't have disturbed you, Doctor. Everything seems back to normal.
Are you sure? Holiness, you've been bothered by colitis since the attack.
Yes. That's all it was, a bit of colitis.
It seems to be more and more frequent lately. I'd like to examine you.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but I have no time today. Can't it wait?
I'm afraid I have to insist. It will only take a few minutes.
All right. All right, I surrender.
Breathe in. Breathe out. I think we'll need further tests.
What sort of tests?
Laboratory tests. I'm sorry, but a series of radiological exams will rid us of any doubts.
Is it really necessary?
Yes, it is. I will make it as quick as possible.
All right. What were you trying to tell me earlier?
It's not the right time, Holy Father. We can talk about it later.
When will we have another peaceful moment like this? With no interruptions?
Holy Father, I wanted to ask you to free me of my duties. I don't have the strength anymore. I feel old and tired. Forgive me, but it isn't easy for me to say all this.
I know. I can never thank you enough for all you have done. And for all the times you had the courage to tell me I was not right. What will you do?
Go back to reading Goethe and to devote whatever time I have left to caring for young people in prison. It's something I've always done when I had a bit of time. Now it will be different. I don't blame them or criticize them. I just try to be the father they never had. They fill my life with their warmth.
There is a rather suspicious mass in the intestine, Holy Father. The size of that apple.
What do we do about it?
Operate immediately.
What's the hurry?
Holy Father, this suspicious mass is a tumor. And I repeat, it requires an operation. Urgently.
Selfishness, hatred, violence still appear before our eyes and inflict new pain upon innocent people of Bosnia. Do not ignore the pain of the innocent. I would like to tell you a secret. This evening I entered the Gemelli hospital to undergo an operation. I ask for your prayers so that the Lord will bring me his help and his support.
Have you heard? He has as much right to fall ill as anyone else.
But to announce it publicly. You mean you preferred the popes who kept everything secret?
Even their dying. Pope Wojtyła says that the church should have no secrets.
10 minutes. They're coming with their pre-anesthetic. I'll be back in a moment.
What are you doing here all alone? How is that woman's son? I asked her if she wanted me to call a priest. She said she didn't want one. I am a friend.
May I?
There's nothing you can do here. No one can do anything.
Just for a minute.
Don't tell me that God is all powerful and good.
God is with you right now.
Then tell him to go away. I just want my son.
I can't tell him to go away, but he won't listen. He knows his place is here with you.
Holy Father, what are you doing here? Please, please, Holy Father, please. Holy Father, how do you feel? You may feel pain, but the operation went well.
They got the tumor in time. Now all you need is a little patience while you heal.
Do you remember the 41st Psalm? Blessed be those who care for the weak in his day of pain. It is talking about you and me. Thank you both. And please thank everyone for me. Especially the doctors.
must rest now.
Your jokes will send you to purgatory, you know, Auntie? And you know what your punishment will be? To read the complete philosophical works of Karol Wojtyla. You know, I was at Castel Gandolfo just after my operation. One day, a nuncio came to see me. We discussed a problem that had come up in the country where he was based. Then, as he was about to leave, he said, "Holy Father, you know, you look very well." So I said, yes. An operation had gone well, I was recovering quickly, but he insisted, "Holy Father, you really look very well. You look wonderful." He went on and on. "Believe me, Holy Father, I'm not saying it to flatter you." So I wondered to myself just what he was trying to get at. Finally, he blurts out, "What I mean is, Holy Father, you look better than before the operation." I looked at him and I said, "Your Excellency, maybe you should have an operation too."
Holy Father, Cardinal Sodano needs to see you.
Oh. Your Eminence, these are my seminary classmates. Not all of them famous for their saintliness. Gentlemen, you have the honor to meet the new Secretary of State, Cardinal Sodano. What's wrong, Your Eminence?
Holy Father, we had better switch on the television.
Stashu.
A devastating mafia crime took place at 4:55 p.m. in Palermo. A remote-control car bomb was set off just as the anti-mafia judge, Paolo Borsellino, together with his escort, were exiting their armored car for the judge's usual Sunday visit with his mother. The blast was heard over a mile away, shattering splinters of glass and stone that reached up to the 11th floor of the surrounding buildings. On the charred asphalt lay the victims. An early estimate of the outrage mentions 6 dead, 18 wounded, several seriously, plus 96 apartments damaged and 51 automobiles destroyed.
God said, "Thou shalt not kill." No man, no mafia can change or trample on this most sacred, God-given law. In the name of Christ crucified and risen, of Christ who is the way, the truth, and the life, I speak to those responsible. Repent, change, for one day God's justice will surely come.
Holy Father?
Your Eminence, what about my trip to Sarajevo?
It's too risky to visit Bosnia at the moment. No one is willing to guarantee your safety.
And who guarantees the safety of the women and children and the sick who live there?
Forgive my frankness, Holy Father, but I don't think one more sacrifice would bring about peace. Besides, yours isn't the only life that would be in danger. Think of all the people who would come to hear you.
All right. I guess I'll have to wait to go to them. So, let's see to my appointment in Africa.
This is where the slaves were sorted and selected, then locked up before being loaded onto ships. Families were split up forever. Thousands of Africans lost their status as human beings. They were bought and sold like animals. This was called the gate to the journey of no return.
Those children. Those women, those men. Were all victims of a shameful commerce conducted by people who had been baptized. Wherever Christians took part in this shame, wherever Christians failed to rebel against this horror, now we ask forgiveness. I ask forgiveness.
Now you can go and greet him. Go ahead. Careful, Your Holiness. It's pretty windy here. You can lose your head. Oops.
How's our Bishop Thomas? Thomas, how are you?
Busy, Holy Father. Being a bishop is a full-time job. Thank you for coming, Holiness. This is a desert, but you are here today. So it is a great day for celebration. Virtually, the whole population of Northern Uganda lives in camps like this, without any hope or future. These are some of the survivors of the massacre.
Thank you. God bless you. Bless you all. God bless you all.
These are the children who were snatched away from the war. They were escaping from their home villages to avoid being kidnapped, forced to be made soldiers and killers. That boy is Justin Okelo. It was because of Justin that I was able to find them. He ran for 30 kilometers to reach me and warned me that the children of his village were hiding in the forest with no food nor water. Justin. Justin refused to rest. He wanted to guide me immediately to their hiding place.
The bottom! Stand up!
Easy, children, easy. There's enough for everybody. On our way back during the night, we were slowed down by a rainstorm. Then, the day after, before we could reach the camp, they caught us.
Round them up, every one of them.
Where are you going, huh? You coming with us?
There are still more of them up there. Get them down here.
Don't move. Stay together, together. Don't run.
Shoot the priest, Charlie.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Leave them alone.
Sure.
What will you trade them for? What do you ask for all these kids?
We need them. They need to learn to fight like us.
They are still children.
Yes, exactly. And children obey. They're afraid of getting whipped.
They are your brothers and sisters. They are your people.
Let him go.
Take this. In exchange, and you free the children.
I could kill you and take everything.
Correct. You can do what you want. But when you stand before God, not only will you look into his eyes, but to those eyes too. And that will not do you one bit of good.
I'm going, Charlie.
You're the sinner. Yes, you are. Let them go.
Move! Move!
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We are all going home. Don't be afraid. Now stay all together. Together. Don't get lost.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then, it's not easy to run a field hospital. We like medicines, machines. We like... here's our staff.
Your Holiness, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
What is your name?
My name is Tungara. I don't want to die. I'm suffering too much.
Do not give up hope, Tungara. Christ is with you. Christ is with every one of you.
Thank you.
So, Doctor, how many patients do you have here?
Many more than we can care for. How much do you think AIDS treatments cost a year? $10,000. And how much can Africa afford to spend on her people? $9.57. Drug companies fix their prices at Western levels. It's a death sentence for the people here.
You are right. The rich countries are like the new merchants raiding Africa. Once they sold slaves, today they get rich by exploiting the wealth of the land and by selling arms and provoking wars. But the day will come when the poor of the world will call the rich to account for all this suffering. What is your name, Doctor?
Julia Ritter, Holy Father. I'm a researcher at McGill University in Montreal.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Your work does more than my words.
I'm right. Yes, Holy. Oh, what beautiful light.
And you are?
Shizuka. We've been married for 60 years. Today's our anniversary. Thank you.
That's
for doing
great.
this.
Father, what happened? Why did you fall?
I don't know why I fell.
Maybe we should stop the audience, Holy Father.
Knocked down, but not knocked out.
Thank you for coming, Monsignor. I didn't mean to alarm you, but it's important.
We couldn't get him to stay in the hospital for more than half a day. Did the hospital treat him correctly or not?
They spotted this anterior traumatic luxation and hairline fracture here.
How serious is it?
Frankly, it's what doesn't show here that worries me.
What do you mean?
I can't make a diagnosis without further tests.
What tests?
Neurological. I know how the Holy Father feels about clinical exams. But sooner or later, he has to be convinced. Sooner, not later.
What do you suspect?
The Holy Father fell. There's no doubt about that. We all saw it. But he didn't trip on anything. And we want to know why he fell. Monsignor, please help me.
Of course, Doctor.
I brought some refreshments, Holy Father.
Thank you. What's wrong?
Holy Father, may I speak?
Of course.
I studied medicine. That's why I am here with you.
I know. And I'm very grateful for the medicine you inflict on me with such kindness.
Are you teasing me, Holy Father?
No. No, I manage to be serious once in a while.
I want you to submit to all the tests that someone with your responsibilities and your age should have regularly.
So your kindness extends to calling me an old man now.
That's not what I meant.
Stasio, did you put her up to this?
No, absolutely not. She mentioned it to me, and I agreed. Dr. Buzzanetti is insisting on it, and I think we should listen.
If I want to know something about my health, I just have to read the papers. The worst thing is they can't write left-handed.
You don't need to. Please, come in.
Oh. Stanisław Ryłko. So you are going to be my right hand right now. It's about time the Pope's office was computerized. Why are we always so late with things? No. Let's change this part. Make it
We must not be afraid of the future. Must not be afraid of the future.
You are or will be scientists. Now, this is the question you must ask. Does my research, my work, make human life on Earth more human? Does it make life more worthy of man? This is the question you must ask.
Holy Father, I've read your letter to women. It moved me very much. I just wanted to let you know. That's all.
Thank you. You give me the opportunity to repeat my thanks to women, to whom humanity owes an incalculable debt. But thanks aren't enough. The liberation of women from every form of abuse and exploitation is far from accomplished.
Right here.
In many parts of the world, too many obstacles keep women from being appreciated and respected. And it must be said that in the church itself, certain forms of discrimination against women persist.
You speak mostly to young audiences. Why?
There's a Polish proverb that says, "Z jakim przestajesz, takim się stajesz." You want to know what it means? It means you end up resembling the company you keep. I need your strength, your will to live. You look for comprehensive answers to eternal questions. And when you do that, even without knowing it or wanting it, you are looking for God.
Holy Father, my name is Julia Ritter. I met you at the hospital in Uganda. I appreciated your words very much, but I must ask a question. How can the Church, which claims to be on the side of mankind, be so rigid and so severe and so far removed from the people when it comes to their sexuality?
It is not a question of being severe. If we consider the dignity of the human being as a person, it is clear that sexuality cannot be separated from love. In the union of two souls and two bodies, there must be mutual devotion and respect. That's what the moral law, which lies in man's heart, tells us.
Not now, excuse me.
Oh, my dear colleague.
The Holy Father has no central neurological lesions.
Good news then?
Not entirely, Father. My suspicions have been confirmed, and they must be accepted once and for all. The Holy Father has Parkinson's disease. And pretending he is feeling well is of no help at all.
I'm glad to see you again.
I was thrilled by your invitation.
I owe you a more complete answer.
When I spoke, I didn't mean to be antagonistic. I was simply asking questions that many Catholics ask every day. I'm faced daily with the misery of AIDS in Africa.
I know, and thank you for what you are doing. The tragedy of people dying in Africa is a tragedy for the entire human race. Unfortunately, no one has found an effective solution yet. We can try, however, to build a more human world in which the dignity of the individual is respected. But please, feel free to ask wherever you want.
Why must the Church continue to dig in its heels against contraception and abortion?
Julia, the Church proclaims the value of human life, its sacredness and its inviolable nature.
200,000 women a year die from illegal abortions. If they had access to contraception, they would live.
It's our duty to defend their lives. It could not be done, however, if the only choice is between contraception and abortion. The Church wants men and women to take the responsibility for their relationships and to defend the purity of love and sexuality.
Yeah, this is a spiritual argument. It's too far removed from reality.
That reality can never change without the spiritual conception of the individual. That requires teaching everyone to realize her or his own dignity. Many more women would still be alive if their dignity had been respected.
Now, what do I say to the AIDS patient who refuses abstinence? Or the mother who's struggling to feed the children that she has but doesn't want anymore?
You're a doctor. I'm a spiritual guide. You can't allow yourself to give a wrong diagnosis, and I can't refuse to tell the truth about men according to the gospel. If you're a patient, if someone is really in love, he or she would not allow that love to spread death. Easy solutions don't help man to be himself, to respect himself. And if he is not capable of this, he won't be capable of loving and respecting others.
Why can't the Church forget these abstract concepts and see people's pain and confusion and imperfections, life as it is, not as it should be?
But that's not true, Julia. The Church cares deeply about people's pain and confusion. We don't deal in abstract concepts, but in the profound meaning of life and man.
Don't you see the world isn't listening to you?
The rich materialistic world is not the whole world.
But it's the world that can make choices.
The choice itself is not enough. The respect of human life does not depend on anyone's choice, but on basic human dignity. Nobody can choose imposing the rules of the rich on poor people.
President Clinton, who will be here next week, you are to discuss the subject of how to deal with world poverty.
His way. With sterilization campaigns imposed on poor countries as preconditions for international aid.
We know we can't change his mind. It will simply be a symbolic visit, a courtesy call.
Can we find a way to intervene more strongly at the United Nations?
Our delegation has expressed the point of view of the Holy See, but it was very vigorously contested.
Why? Why do they refuse to consider our propositions?
Because, Your Holiness, they find them to be unrealistic, too tied to our religious convictions, and most important, contrary to women's liberation.
Your Eminence, who do we have representing us in these discussions?
Our very best minds, our best diplomats.
All men, I suppose.
What do you mean, Holy Father?
Let's put a team together made up entirely of women and send them to the next United Nations conference in Peking.
Women? To represent the Holy Father at an international assembly debating the future of the world?
Exactly. Intelligent, competent in their field, and possessing the appropriate talent to make their voices heard. Here's a list of possible candidates.
feel pain, Holiness?
Oh, that's painful.
I'm afraid that it's your hip, Holiness.
Old people's fracture.
Call an ambulance.
No, it was just a silly accident.
Did you trip on something?
No, I don't think so. I can't really explain how it happened. Maybe I slipped. All of a sudden, I was on the floor. I know. This sort of fracture often calls for an operation. So be it. But, Doctor, please just get me back on my feet, okay?
Any news?
No, it's too soon. Maybe...
Are you in much pain?
No more than I deserve.
They had to put in a prosthesis.
What does that mean?
That your recovery won't be quick. When you're able to get out of bed, you'll need that. Just for a while. I'll let you rest now.
Thank you. I just broke a leg. You don't run the church with your legs.
Please.
Do I have to drink all of this?
Yes. Thank you.
And yet it moves.
Holy Father.
My dear patient doctor, come with me. So what is this important news?
Your falls. There has to be a reason for them.
I slipped. Sit down. All right. Then tell me.
You have a degenerative disease, an extrapyramidal syndrome.
You mean the trembling in my left hand?
That's a symptom of what's commonly called Parkinson's disease.
Rather common in older people, I understand. But it's not that invalidating, is it?
You'll have to take care of yourself, Holy Father.
I just want to be able to keep working.
Then it's essential that you take your medication regularly, at the prescribed time. Is that clear?
You mean I haven't been a good patient and didn't take some pills?
Hey, it's not a matter of some pills. Forgive me, Holy Father.
See? Slips happen. Of course I forgive you. Because I appreciate your science and your passion, too. If I do more to cooperate with Sister Tobiana and her pills, will I see some improvement?
Parkinson's disease advances with time. Medication can only slow down that advance.
You mean the science has limits? I was afraid of that. Well, I guess I will still have problems buttoning my cassock.
Holy Father, the trembling will increase.
I will be more careful.
You will lose muscle tone. Speaking and swallowing will become more and more difficult. You will have to think out every move you make. They will no longer be reflexive, automatic, as you would expect. You'll have to exercise every day to prepare for the challenges you face.
I know you're concerned about me. But my life and my future are in the hands of God. More than in yours, so do not worry. In my free time, I will even follow your orders. Thank you, Doctor.
It's a new sensation. My mind goes faster than my body. It's a bit like being shipwrecked, you know? You can see land, but the waves are pushing you backwards. And they are stronger than your arms.
I know all about that shipwreck, Holy Father. It's called old age.
Yes, old age. It's the most difficult part of our life. And the most important. It's a hard cross to bear.
Is God telling us we haven't done enough?
Yes.
Holy Father.
Ah. Is that the medicine that keeps me still or gets me going?
It prevents infection.
I've been thinking about how a certain culture today is trying to banish pain and suffering from the world. The sick are treated as substandard beings, a weight on society, and pain is seen as useless cruelty.
People without faith can understand why suffering can express who we are and our redemption.
Well put, Sister Tovia. You are more concise than I am.
The latest reports on Bosnia.
Ah, thank you. Please get word to Cardinal Sodano that I need to speak with him urgently.
Certainly, Father.
Conditions for going to Bosnia are not encouraging at the moment, Holiness.
I can't just resign myself to the suffering of those people.
Too dangerous, Holy Father.
Perhaps the Pope can't change the world. But he can bring words of hope and love. I can still do that. You know how long I have been waiting for this.
He's going to Bosnia.
When?
The 12th.
Tried to get him to put it off for a while. He still has a high fever.
How long has he been taking the antibiotics?
5 days.
Oh. Hello, Doctor. I know what you are going to say.
It's unwise for someone in your condition.
I always thought you were an optimist like me. What happened?
I'm a doctor.
And you don't believe in divine providence?
Of course, but...
But?
I see. It's hopeless. You already made up your mind.
The first person to die in the war was a girl of about 20, Swada Delberovich. It happened here. They were going to the barricades, unarmed, for a peaceful demonstration, when the snipers started shooting. Further on, an Italian volunteer went down, Gabriele Locatelli. He wanted to offer bread to both the Serb and the Bosnian soldiers, as a sign of peace. That is where Bosco and Admira died. They had been together for 9 years. They met in school. She was a Muslim, he an Orthodox Christian. They were going to run away to get married. Both sides had promised them safe passage. They were left there for 5 days. Almost 500,000 died in the Balkans, 10,000 in Sarajevo alone, in the middle of Europe. The people of this country have not yet had justice. Many of those responsible are still free and protected.
Are you all right, Holy Father? We can postpone the ceremony for a few hours.
No, they have waited only too long already. When people have even tried to kill hope, what comfort can words bring?
I'm offering myself to the Lord so that He will hear your prayers.
My prayers are for your health. I'm glad there are two of us praying for the same thing.
Holy Father, I'm sure you are praying for me. But I'm just as sure I'm not the only one you're praying for. And that comforts me.
As we speak, I can see the words you put on your wall. Christ's call from the cross. I thirst. We all thirst. We are all in need.
Holy Father.
Your Eminence. So how are plans for World Youth Day progressing?
To be honest, several French bishops advise against the Holy Father going to Paris.
But I have to meet with the young people.
That's just the point. It's planned for August, and the French bishops are certain that the youth won't come. They're afraid of a serious public humiliation. A fiasco.
And do you agree, Your Eminence?
I personally think you should go. But at the same time, consider the objections that have been raised.
In Manila, there were almost 3 million people. Joyous people. All under 30.
You know that in Europe it's different.
Years ago in Paris, something very special happened to me. I was leaving a group of young people I had been speaking to, and suddenly I heard a boy shouting.
Pope Jean Paul! Pope Jean Paul!
Pope John Paul! Pope John Paul!
Pope Jean Paul! I'm an atheist. I don't understand faith. And what do you believe? Why do you believe? What's life worth? What's your God like?
You see, Your Eminence, I have to go to Paris. I have to answer that boy. Years ago, one of your companions asked me, "Why do you believe?" He claimed to be an atheist, but deep down he was a seeker of God, because each of us has his or her own personal story and has a special desire to see God. A desire that we feel at the very moment we discover life and nature. Remember, we are all capable of great things if we refuse to be defeated by the fear of our own weakness. The future is in your eyes.
Naked on the cross, abandoned and scorned by all. The ultimate sacrifice for love. I see the door to eternity opening, and I thank heaven for my life.
They say I created too many saints. The vocation to sainthood is universal. It is not reserved for martyrs or heroes, for special or privileged people. Sainthood is living a true Christian life every day. It means choosing love, like Mother Teresa did.
What is all this?
I thought we were here to discuss the 2000 Jubilee.
Why is there mention here of the church having to bear blame?
Thank you for your presence. I propose that this holy year be a year of purification of our hearts, our consciences, and our memory. The Church recognizes the errors and mistakes committed by its sons in the course of history. We ask forgiveness, and we confess our responsibility for the evils of today. We ask forgiveness. We ask forgiveness for the divisions that have appeared between Christians. We ask forgiveness, and we forgive. From here, Moses saw the promised land before he died, knowing he could never enter it. This is what Moses saw: the promised land, the land of peace, of justice, of happiness, of love. He saw it from far away. be disastrous. I belong to the generation that lived through the Second World War and survived. It is my duty to tell all the young, all who are younger than me and haven't seen what I have seen. It is my duty to tell them no more war. No more war! This is my body, which was sacrificed for your sake.
Holy Father.
They are calling it a preemptive war, but I simply call it war. And those who started it will answer for it before God. Humanity doesn't need distraction. It needs construction. It doesn't need walls, it needs bridges. In such a dramatic situation, we feel the need to raise our voices to God. It is my intention to invite representatives of all the world's religions to pray together once again, especially Christians and Muslims, to proclaim that no religion will ever again allow hatred and death to have the last word.
You know you are hitting the Pope.
Isn't the Holy Father reading?
He's running a fever.
I'll call a doctor. Take him to his room.
Eminence.
How is he?
Acute laryngotracheitis. We can't afford to ignore his condition. It's too serious.
How serious?
The Holy Father never wanted to listen to me. But this time, complete rest is essential. Please cancel all his appointments.
We should issue a medical statement.
What can we say?
The truth. Flu syndrome.
It's the season for it?
Yes, Father Stanislaw. It's the season. Can you have them prepare a room for me? I want to stay close.
Yes, of course.
Doctor, he's having another attack.
Did you give him the extra milligrams of cortisone?
Yes, but this time he didn't react.
We have to move him to the hospital.
We can't. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday. It's time to begin preparations for Easter.
Please, I must insist, if we don't get you to a hospital immediately, you will suffocate. Please, Holy Father, please. Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance. Feeling a little better?
Thank you.
I have to go back home.
No, not yet. Not yet, Holy Father. Please, be patient. We have to be sure you're not risking further complications.
All right, but I refuse to be your prisoner for much longer. I need time to pray and to work.
It's a respiratory question now. He won't listen to us, so we'll do what he is essentially asking us to do. Please, Sister Fabiana.
Yes, Father?
Let's go home.
It's very unwise to leave so soon.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but the Holy Father was very insistent. Don't worry, we're taking part of the hospital with us.
In his case, it may not be enough.
I'll do that. Don't worry, sister.
Holy Father, your larynx is obstructed, constricted, which keeps you from breathing normally. We want to do a tracheotomy. No, don't worry. It's a simple operation. We must make a small incision in the throat, thus allowing more air to reach the lungs.
Doctor, he had told me that he wanted to know if he can't wait until summer during his vacation.
It has to be done before tomorrow. But the operation is quite simple, really.
Simple. For whom?
You're right.
But afterwards, he will be better.
He will breathe better. But as far as speech, We don't have a choice.
Doctor, if something happened to me, I want to be in my home.
All right. Let's do this simple incision and get you right back home. You have my word. How do you feel now? No. Holy Father, don't force it. You mustn't use your voice for the moment.
What have you done to me? Dr. Buzonetti.
Yes?
Can we do something to help him speak? It's so important for him.
I feel as bad as you do, Father. We will try everything possible. I promise.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, we open our mouth and say, breathe in. Stop. And now we say, breathe in. Now say, hi.
Holy Father, that's enough. You mustn't wear yourself out. Are you ready?
He has scattered those who are proud of their innermost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up the humble. But has lifted up the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things, but has sent the rich away empty-handed.
His blood pressure is sinking.
It's the third time today.
He's in shock. Quickly.
He said, "Let me go back to the house of my father."
Błogosławionaś Ty między niewiastami i błogosławiony owoc żywota Twojego, Jezus. Święta Mario, Matko Boża, módl się za nami grzesznymi, teraz i w godzinę śmierci naszej. Amen.
Ciebie, Boga, wysławiamy.
Tobie, Panu, wieczna chwała. Ciebie, Ojca niebios bramy. Ciebie wielbi ziemia cała. Tobie wszyscy aniołowie. Tobie moce i niebiosy.
Watch, therefore,
For you do not know on what day your Lord will come. These words remind me of the last call that will come. I want all that is part of my earthly life to prepare me for this moment. I do not know when it will come, but I place this moment, like all other things, in the hands of the mother of my master. Totus tuus. In these same motherly hands I leave everything and everyone with whom my life and my vocation have brought me into contact. In these hands I above all leave the church and also my nation and all mankind. I thank everyone. I ask everyone for forgiveness.